everybody. So today is my second episode of Friday Favorites. This is my new series that I started since Friday 5 got all messed up with copyright mess. Friday, I'm just going to talk about something that I like, and so it's just going to be super fun. So this week, I am talking about one of my favorite shows, The Nanny, and why you should love it and watch it. Nanny was a show that appeared on CBS. It was from 1993 to 1999. It's just one of my favorite shows. I love it. I think it's so funny. I think it has such heart. And I think it is a classic romantic comedy. One of the best ones, I think, to ever play out as far as on television, and in a satisfactory way. So The Nanny, it stars Fran Drescher as Fran Fine, and I think she is the heart of the show. I think she, as soon as she was brought in on the pilot, you get a real sense that this family is kind of found its heart again. It really is sort of a Van Trapp situation, and I know that Fran Drescher is very controversial because of her voice. Or divisive, I should say. That some people think it's very annoying, other people like it, and I am a fan. I just think she's just so funny and such a one of a kind. I just love her so much. And she's basically playing, I think, a version of herself on the show. And I think she has amazing chemistry with Charles Shaughnessy, who plays Maxwell Sheffield. And he is this Broadway producer on the show who kind of hires Fran by accident when she is selling cosmetics to her to his house, and he thinks that she's applying for the nanny position. And there's a great opening theme song that I would play for you if copyright wasn't so ridiculous. So yeah, they are amazing and has a really wonderful rest of the cast, but I'm going to talk about that as we go. The kids aren't the greatest, but I think that they are good enough to not sink the show. They're fine. And they're really just sort of there for Fran Drescher to bounce off of. And the adults are the ones that make the show. So here's my 5 reasons why The Nanny is the best. Number 5, I have Fran Drescher's fashion. It is so fun every episode of the show to see what Fran is going to show up next. Some of her outfits were really outlandish and crazy. Some of them were super stylish and super fun. And they definitely, creatures of the 90s, but she just wears clothes so well, Fran Drescher. And obviously it's ridiculous that this nanny could afford these amazing designer clothes, but who cares? It was really, really fun. Always a part of the show that you couldn't wait to see what was going to happen next and what she was going to show up in. And so that's my number 5. My number 4 is the hilarious writing. I think that the writers really knocked it out of the park on this show. There's so much fun, witty banter between Fran and Maxwell. There are slapstick, there are double entendres, there are just funny jokes about stuff that they weren't joking about then, as far as her being Jewish, as far as her being a single woman in New York City, dating these various men over the course of the show. It's just funny, and it'll make you laugh. At least it certainly makes me laugh. And I think they did a really good job, the writers on that show, of using all of the assets that they had to make funny scenarios, funny situations that were great. So there you go. Funny writing, number 4. Number 3, I have Cece and Niles. Cece Babcock is the personal assistant of of Maxwell Sheffield. She definitely is interested in Maxwell romantically. A lot of good comedy that is reaped off of her jealousy over Fran and their dynamic together. She's very judgy of Fran, and it's really funny. Thing is Niles the butler, played by Daniel Davis. And he is like her number one sparring partner. They hate each other, and they are not afraid in telling each other how they feel about each other. And Niles is very good with the jabs and the dry disdain that he has, and it's really funny. I don't know if I really buy them like end up together by the end. That was sort of lame, but oh well, it's still their dynamic throughout the whole show is really funny. And whenever Cece would say something, like there's one classic episode, a lot of the good comedy came in the breakfast scenes that they would have with Fran coming down and doing something to kind of disrupt the family. And there's a really funny one though where Cece says like, you made my eggs dry up. and Niles, he's like, he can't even hardly hold it in on what he's gonna say. So funny, so good. And next, I have my number 2 reason to watch The Nanny is that Fran with the various side characters, Fran and Val, her best friend outside of Niles, is also kind of becomes her best friend, I think, by the end. And Fran and Val. Val was played by Rachel Segal, and I think it's really the only other thing that major thing she's done. And she was kind of a little bit more naive than Fran, and the two just had really great chemistry and were really fun, and I really enjoyed them. Of course, then there's Fran's mother, Sylvia, played by Renee Taylor, and she's hilarious. She's was kind of known in the show for always wanting to eat, and that was sort of a running joke that if there was anything, in near distance, she would want to eat it. It was probably a nightmare for that actress, but it was funny, and she's constantly obsessing about Fran being single. And so there's a lot of comedy with that and sort of her judginess in general over Fran. Then you have her grandmother, Yetta, played by Ann Gilbert, and she is so funny. She is like this chain smoker, and she ends up at one point starting a relationship with Ray Charles, which is funny. She's just really funny with all her little asides and comments, and so especially when you have the chance to get all of them together or multiple of these side characters together with Fran, then those scenes were usually really gold and really funny. So my number 1 reason to watch The Nanny, and the reason why The Nanny is the best, is the romance between Fran and Maxwell. This is, I really think, one of the best romantic comedies ever put onto television. They have that opposites attract kind of appeal to them, but they have instant chemistry, instant attraction to each other. They do a good job sort of stringing the audience along, I think. Their wedding is the best. I love their wedding, and his proposal is so romantic, so great. Once they get married, it's not quite as good once like it's more sort of the lead up is a little bit stronger, I think, than the actual season where they're married, but it's still fun and still fine. And I just loved all of the sweet moments that they had together, the sexy moments they had together, the whole back and forth between all of that was so great. It's just I just can't think of a better romance on screen that's ever happened. And so I love the comedy. I love the heart. I love everything about that whole relationship. And so that's the number 1 reason you should watch The Nanny. It's a great show. It's one of my all-time favorites. And so there you go. Let me know what you think of The Nanny and maybe I left something off that's so great about the show that we want to talk about. And what are some of your favorite parts about The Nanny? Put in the comment section. Let me know. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.